Roman order. The Julian calendar and imperial influence. In ancient Rome, the measurement of time initially relied on a lunar-based system. The earliest Roman calendar consisted of 10 months, totaling approximately 304 days. The year began in March and ended in December, with January and February later added to account for the winter period. However, this calendar did not align with the solar year, and each year it drifted slightly, causing significant issues for agriculture, military campaigns, and religious ceremonies. To correct this, additional months were occasionally inserted, but this process was entirely under the control of the priestly class and susceptible to political manipulation. Extending or shortening the calendar to suit political interests created a chaotic perception of time within Roman society. By the 1st century BCE, the calendar had almost completely lost alignment with the seasons, making reform inevitable. In 46 BCE, Julius Caesar initiated a major reform. The Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes provided the recommendations that shaped the new system. The calendar was shifted from lunar cycles to a solar year, fixing the year at 365 days and adding one extra day every 4 years to February, creating a 366-day leap year. This resulted in an average year length of 365.25 days. While similar to the Egyptian solar calendar, the Julian system introduced a more systematic approach to annual calculations. Known as the Julian calendar, this new system was gradually adopted across the Roman Empire. It served not only as a tool for tracking time, but also as a symbol of political and cultural unity within the empire. The months were renamed to reflect Roman culture. July, Julius, honored Julius Caesar, and August, Augustus, honored his successor, Augustus, allowing the calendar to function as a subtle instrument of propaganda. However, the Julian calendar assumed a 365-day year, while the true solar year is approximately 324 days. This small difference caused a drift of about 1 day every 128 years, gradually shifting the spring equinox from mid-March backward. By the 16th century, the equinox occurred around March 11th instead of March 21st, creating complications in determining dates for religious observances such as Easter. Despite this minor inaccuracy, the Julian calendar remained the official timekeeping system in Europe and the Mediterranean for nearly 1,600 years. It not only regulated daily life, but also embodied the authority of the Roman Empire. The reform of the calendar was thus both a technical correction and a political statement about who controlled time. In this respect, the Julian calendar stands as a clear historical example of how time itself can be wielded as a tool of power. The Gregorian Reform, the birth of the modern calendar. Although the Julian calendar had brought order to time in ancient Rome, its calculation of a 365.25-day year contained an error of approximately 11 minutes per year. This small discrepancy accumulated over centuries, causing a drift of roughly 1 day every 128 years. By the 16th century, the equinoxes and solstices had shifted about 10 days, creating misalignment in the calendar. This posed a significant problem for the Christian world, as important religious celebrations, such as Easter, were determined based on the spring equinox. To correct this, Pope Gregory XIII initiated a comprehensive calendar reform in 1582. The reform was designed by the Italian astronomer and mathematician Aloysius Lilius and systematized by Christoph Clavius. The first step involved correcting the accumulated drift. The day after October 4, 1582, was designated as October 15, 1582, effectively removing the 10-day discrepancy. This adjustment restored the spring equinox to March 21st. The Gregorian calendar also refined the leap year system to better match the solar year. Every 4 years remained a leap year, except that years divisible by 100 were not leap years unless they were also divisible by 400. This system established an average year length of 365.2425 days, remarkably close to the actual solar year of 365.22422 days, resulting in an annual error of only 26 seconds, equivalent to 1 day in about 3,300 years. Adoption of the reform was rapid in Catholic countries such as Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Poland. Protestant nations, however, resisted for political and religious reasons. Britain and its colonies adopted the Gregorian calendar only in 1752, and Russia continued using the Julian calendar until 1918. These differences caused long-standing confusion in date comparisons across Europe. The impact of the Gregorian calendar extended beyond religion, influencing scientific, social, and economic spheres. It provided a standardized time framework essential for international trade and allowed for more precise planning of scientific observations and astronomical events. By the 20th century, nearly all countries had adopted the Gregorian calendar as their official system. Today, it serves as the foundation for the United Nations and all global organizations. The success of the Gregorian calendar was not merely technical. It created a common temporal language on a global scale, establishing the basis for coordination between diverse cultures. The calendar thus became more than a tool for marking days. It evolved into a symbol of inter-civilizational harmony and the organized structure of the modern world. Religious and cultural calendars, diverse readings of time. Although the Gregorian calendar is widely used in the modern world, many cultures and religious traditions continue to maintain their own calendars. These systems serve not only to measure time, but also to determine sacred days, rituals, and social cycles. Each calendar is based on distinct cosmological assumptions, astronomical calculations, and cultural codes. In this section, we will explore 5 major religious and cultural calendars: the Hijri, Jewish, Chinese, Hindu, and Buddhist systems. Hijri calendar, time measured by the moon. The Hijri calendar is entirely lunar, based on the phases of the moon. It consists of 12 months, each beginning with the sighting of the new crescent. The average year is approximately 330 4 days, making it about 11 days shorter than the solar year. As a result, the Hijri calendar does not align with the seasons. Ramadan, Eid al-Adha, and the Hajj shift approximately 11 days earlier each year. The calendar begins in 622 CE, marking the Prophet Muhammad's migration from Mecca to Medina, designated as Wern Muharram, Year 1. Since its inception, the Hijri calendar has been central to religious identity and the perception of time within Islamic societies. Its lunar basis relies on observation, with some countries starting months according to local sightings of the crescent, while others use calculated dates. This diversity highlights that time is not only a technical construct, but also a religious and social one. Jewish calendar. Balancing moon and sun, the Jewish calendar is lunisolar, incorporating both lunar and solar cycles. A standard year of 12 months has roughly 304 days. To maintain alignment with the seasons and ensure that religious festivals fall at consistent times, an extra month, called Adar II, is added 7 times every 19 years, creating a 13-month year. This system ensures that festivals like Passover always occur in spring. The calendar counts time from the traditional date of creation, 30,1161 BCE. Month names, many derived from the Babylonian exile period, include Nisan, Tishrei, and Adar. Religious observances, such as Rosh Hashanah, New Year, and Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, are scheduled according to this system. The Jewish calendar sustains collective memory, weaving sacred narratives into each cyclical year. Chinese calendar, celestial animals, and cyclical time. The traditional Chinese calendar is also lunisolar, relying on both solar and lunar cycles. It generally has 12 months, with an additional leap month added approximately every 3 years to maintain seasonal alignment. Each year is represented by an animal in a 12-year cycle: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, and so on, forming the basis of Chinese astrology. The year begins with the new moon in early spring, celebrated as Chinese New Year, which falls between late January and mid-February in the Gregorian calendar. Beyond marking time, the calendar guides auspicious dates for births, marriages, and important undertakings. Features such as the heavenly stems and earthly branches integrate astronomical and philosophical principles. During imperial times, the calendar reinforced both state authority and cosmic order. Hindu calendar. Time woven with complex astronomy. The Hindu calendar, used in various forms across India, is highly complex. It is generally lunisolar, though some regional versions are purely lunar or solar. A year typically has 12 months, with intercalary months, called adhika masa, added to maintain seasonal alignment. Months can be counted from new moon to new moon, or from full moon to full moon, giving rise to the Amanta and Purnimanta systems. Solar movements through the zodiac also determine the solar calendar. Major festivals, Diwali, Holi, Navaratri, are scheduled according to these calculations. Vedic astronomy underpins these calculations, and the calendar is closely tied to religious texts. The Hindu calendar reflects the sacred and cyclical nature of time, with each year, era, and epoch unfolding according to a cosmic rhythm. Buddhist calendar, measuring enlightened time. The Buddhist calendar, with regional variations, is largely lunar and used primarily in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, among others. It consists of 12 months of roughly 29.5 days, with occasional leap months to align with the solar year. Its epoch is based on the year Siddhartha Gautama attained nirvana, 543 BCE. This date anchors Buddhist conceptions of time. Festivals and fasting days follow lunar phases, most notably Vesak, commemorating the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and death, observed on the full moon. The Buddhist calendar serves not only as a temporal framework, but also as a spiritual guide accompanying the individual's journey.